Welcome to the Lowdown Underground, where soil isn't just dirt, it's a storyteller. We're here to unearth the hidden connections between land, culture, and the ecosystems beneath our feet. I'm Bailey, joined by Megan, bringing you groundbreaking stories and guests to discuss how landscapes shape us and how we shape them. All right, let's dig in. Welcome. So, if you are listening to this episode as audio only, I'd highly recommend watching this episode on YouTube. And we'll have a link to that in the show notes. Because Megan shows us some absolutely gorgeous soil core photos. And while we talk through these photos, there's nothing like seeing the images themselves. Though it would be even more amazing to see these cores in person. But since we all can't be these super cool permafrost soil researchers and visit Alaska ourselves, these photos are like the second best thing. Imagine this. Somewhere outside Fairbanks, Alaska, there's a researcher pulling a tube of frozen soil out of the ground. And it is absolutely beautiful. There are rusty orange streaks, dark charcoal flecks, chunks of ice, and layers that can almost look like calico cat fur. At first glance, it can look a little messy, but it is not random. Those colors and layers are clues, telling us about old fires, water moving through the soil before it froze, ice forming and cracking the ground, and a landscape that has been slowly mixing, heaving, thawing, and refreezing for thousands of years. But permafrost is not as permanent as the name makes it sound. These landscapes are incredibly dynamic. As frozen ground thaws, it can change the way that water moves, the way that the landscapes are held together, and the way that carbon has been stored for a very long time and can begin cycling again. So understanding what is inside permafrost and how fast it is changing is one of the biggest soil and climate questions we have.
Hi, baby.
Hey,
How's
Megan.
it going? I feel like it's well, probably hasn't actually been a long time since we've talked, but I feel like it has been. And I feel like it's been a bit since we've been on Zoom.
Well, I think you probably haven't seen my face in a while, but we have definitely had some phone calls. So
Yeah.
here I am.
Hey.
Oh, nice to see you.
Yeah. It's been a
Well,
it's been a blur. Um,
I bet. You sound
what
like
is
a busy woman.
yeah. It's been a bit recently. It's officially June. That's crazy.
Mhm.
I don't know where May went. But I was digging a lot of holes. Well, not really digging holes. I was drilling a lot of holes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I first week in May hit the ground running, just doing field work.
Yeah, I'm surprised you're calling me right now because I feel like you're constantly out and about getting stuff done,
Yeah,
doing projects, getting stuff
yeah.
established.
Well, the fun part, so we've just yesterday kind of officially wrapped up
Mm.
a lot of the early season like frozen soil sampling that we wanted to do.
Mm.
Um, and honestly could continue to do so, but things are getting so busy with summer and we're choosing to push off a lot of stuff to like next spring and like do some like late winter, early spring coring when everything's fully frozen and we can actually get to site access easier.
Ooh. So
So,
where are you doing that?
so most of what we're doing recently is well, one on campus here at UAF, and then also the Bonanza Creek Experimental Forest, which is just about 20 miles outside of Fairbanks.
Okay, please
There's
share
a
more.
I'll try
I'm
to
very
get one.
curious. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's an LTER site, so long-term ecological research station. Well, kind of station, but um
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of projects happening out there. It's within an experimental forest, and so controlled by the state of Alaska, and then managed through the Forest Service, and then also the LTER based out of the university here. There's an Apex site out there, which is one of the main research
What's
areas.
what
Uh,
is that?
American peatland experiment. I believe.
What is the main point of the work that you're doing in this project? Like, what question are you trying to answer? What data are you getting to answer that question?
Okay. Fantastic question.
Boil it down for us.
Boil it down. So, the fun part about the last couple weeks is I've been working on kind of like three different projects.
Mhm.
But the main one that I am directly involved in is a project looking at identifying and solidifying methods for monitoring dynamic soil properties specific to interior Alaska. And
Mm.
so soils within the discontinuous permafrost zone.
Okay.
A lot of that being like thickness of organics, cryostructures, and therefore excess ice
Mm.
content, trying to get those recognized as dynamic soil properties specific to permafrost systems. And at the same time, answering like, how do we actually measure that? How do we monitor those? So this summer is the first summer of field work. Right now, we're doing a bunch of coring to get different site characterizations to be able to choose proper sites for long-term monitoring. It's a very diverse floodplain system with both active and inactive floodplains and then burned, unburned black spruce, white spruce forest. At the end of the summer, at maximum thaw, we're going to install soil temperature and moisture sensors, air thermistors, and different stuff to monitor changes in these soils throughout
Okay.
time. So,
Huh. How are you deciding what's a good site, quote unquote? Like, good for
trying
your
to,
project.
yeah, well, uh, logistics quickly come into play.
Yeah.
So we've got to,
Accessibility. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, which it's a huge issue. So we're trying to figure out, well, installing them is one thing. We're going to have some probes for soil moisture, and then we're going to have some more point sensors for temperature at different depths, most
Cool.
likely. We're still figuring all of this out. But at the
Mm.
moment, we're just doing a lot of full descriptions and taking soil samples because we're going to get a lot of soil data too from all these sites. Probably
So
doing
fun.
some digital soil mapping, all sorts of
Ooh,
stuff.
perfect. Sounds like a fun project. Oh, what are you gonna run the samples for though?
That's a great question. Yeah, a
I
full
love it.
suite of different things. We'll get carbon, we'll get particle size. Excess ice will be a big one that we do. Now that we're cognizant of sampling bias as well, that helps us.
Yeah. Wait, what do you mean?
So a lot of times when you're sampling, you're like, oh, I don't need to sample the horizon with this huge ice belt because I want soil material for analysis. But then you go back and you do the excess ice calculation for that horizon. And if you purposefully sampled outside of that ice belt, an ice belt is just a pretty clear ice segment within a core.
Mm,
And it's usually surrounded by not as ice-rich material, basically, which kind of makes it different than other cryostructures. If you sampled around that ice belt, your physical measurements for excess ice are going to be different than your visual estimates based off of your descriptions and pictures and your estimates by genetic horizon, basically.
okay. So like if there's more ice than soil, there's a bias. Like people are underreporting soil as a percentage.
Yeah, yeah. If you sample that way and you're relying on those physical sample measurements. Yeah.
Can I ask you a sidebar question?
Yeah.
Don't put this on the podcast. Is it as simple as differentiating between ice and soil as like 50% is the split? Like if it's more than 50%, then you don't call it soil? I'm sorry, I don't know if we ever discussed
Hmm.
that.
Oh, that's a fantastic question. With the different cryostructure types, that 50% mark is important for like as soon as ice content is over 50%, like visually by volume, we consider that like an ice matrix.
Mm.
And so like, the ice is the dominant part of that soil horizon. It can vary. from 0 to 100% ice, you know.
Okay,
Um,
so it still would count like as part of the soil, but what if it's only 2% soil?
yeah, happens all the time with massive ice wedges. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Okay, just a
yeah,
lot of ice. Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
Yep. Still within the soil profile within your description. Like, yeah, still counts.
Okay, a little subscript F. I don't know. What is it?
For
Like that.
yeah, it would I do like a WF slash C sometime, assuming it's C material. But
Oh,
yeah.
gotcha.
Or
Yeah.
or if it's organic. Usually it's like organic inclusions in there. I'm thinking more like ice wedges, that kind of
Okay.
stuff.
Okay, cool. That sounds like a sweet project. I love dynamic soil properties. And you said you've been doing other projects. What other field work are you doing?
Oh, helping out. Well, doing the same field work. Turns out a lot of people want soil samples, permafrost cores, and I'm
Well,
just
and you
happy
are
to
the
be of
woman to do it.
service. Yeah.
Yes. They're like, great, you're
Yeah.
employed now. Let's go. Go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, a friend and colleague out of the University of Puget Sound
Mm,
has a big soil temperature moisture transect out at Bonanza Creek at one of the apex sites.
mm,
Highly instrumented. He's got really high spatial density soil temperature and moisture data of the last 6 years or something like that. Anyways,
mm.
it was really cool because we drilled cores kind of close to his sensors, and we were actually able to match up like permafrost dynamics morphologically to his true data from the sensors and
Ooh.
determine, oh, yes, there is like permafrost table at 160 centimeters or something. And like, yes, there is a talic above that, which is really cool.
What's italic?
I was gonna say, sorry. So
Yeah.
italic is, well, can be a couple different things, but basically a section of unfrozen ground in between sections of frozen ground.
Okay.
Yeah. Whether that's like seasonally frozen or 2 layers of permafrost.
So how deep are you guys going down and are you using a Cypri auger to get down or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We're using a Cypri and we try for about 2 meters. We
Dang.
hitting stuff that does have a talic and is unfrozen, very hard to core through just because of like how the auger is set up. So we drilled those cores and it took all the samples and we're going to do excess ice stuff with those. But
Mm.
then they put in like a big polycarbonate tube down the excavated core hole
Oh
and
yeah.
then they stuck just a camera down and took pictures all the way down. It's kind of like a pilot thing. We were trying to figure out how the tubes would work in installation, and we've got things to work out, but it worked for the most part.
No
And
way.
eventually, he's going to try to figure out a system where it takes pictures regularly, and you can kind of watch seasonal ice formation.
Oh,
In
what?
theory. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That
yeah.
sounds really cool. I'm excited.
Right?
Hopefully you can share those photos someday. I would love
Heck
to see them.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Dang. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's fun.
Yes. Yeah, what's the diameter of that Cypri auger hole?
It's like I think 4.5 inches, something
Okay,
more.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Oh, dang. Yeah, dude, that'll be cool. That
yeah.
will be fun. Okay, any other fun projects you've been up to?
Oh, yeah, we did some coring on campus, thinking more in depth about actual like podology stuff around campus here. So there's a couple different areas, technically still on campus, but close to campus, where they cleared it for agriculture at different
Mhm.
times. Well,
Oh,
kind of. They kind of cleared all the areas at the same time.
okay.
And then some of the areas were abandoned because they had massive ice underneath, and other areas didn't have massive ice. So they just kind of like settled and subsided, and it was ended up flat. And
Mm.
other areas that had massive ice, the ground now literally goes like this. So they had to abandon those fields, and then the fields just kind of naturally reforested over time. So, looking at different soil properties in those different areas, like time sense disturbance, and trying to think about yeah, how soil morphology changes over time in that aspect. Finding in our
Yeah.
initial augering and that kind of stuff in like the frozen forested areas, really cool redox, cryoturbation, and charcoal dynamics, which is really cool.
I want to see photos.
I have so many photos.
I would love to see.
There's so many photos. There's just such beautiful colors.
Oh,
And the cool
I
part
bet.
is that we're seeing, now that I'm looking at these, we're seeing a lot of the same stuff out of Bonanza Creek too. Realizing I kind of want to show you all these pictures. No, let me do one at a time here. Okay, okay, I gotta use here we are.
Let's go.
How's
The
that
slow
buffering?
pan. I love it. Yes.
Nice. Love,
Gorgeous.
love.
Oh man, the
Okay.
tiger stripes. Let's go.
Isn't that crazy? So these black dots are all charcoal.
Oh, really? How
Yeah.
old do you think?
Well, we have no idea. Fantastic question. Um,
We'll be dating those.
will be yes, precisely. Could be, oh geez. Let's see what depth this core is at. I think it was at like 100 or something like that.
Really? Oh, that's
One
cool.
115. So honestly, I mean, several hundred to thousands of years old.
Yeah, yeah, that's really deep. Wow.
Isn't that
Okay.
cool? Okay, so
Yeah.
then we've got all of these micro cryostructures, which is super cool. And then we've also got these crazy redox concentrations. And I can't remember where I called the permafrost table for this core, but it's probably around 80. So we're like 30 centimeters into
So you think these
permafrost.
were formed way long ago, like similar time as charcoal deposition?
Oh, the redox.
Yeah.
This is what we're kind of trying, like, many different thoughts running through my brain. But there's probably a lot going on. So one being, this probably wasn't like the greatest example, but a lot of these redox concentrations are kind of like in striations with the loess bedding planes, which is
Mm.
cool. And this is not the best example. So these oxidized concentrations have probably been cryoturbated, which is fun.
Oh. Huh.
And so that's why they're kind of wavy, along with like, I mean, you see all the different colors here. Like this has
Yeah.
definitely been frost churned in some aspect.
Huh.
Maybe up here. Anyways, so the thought is that like within the less, like most of the oxidized concentrations probably formed when it was unfrozen with loess deposition, potentially.
Mm. Hmm.
Um, and then soils froze and then was permafrost for a long time. And then you had to have fire go through at some point, and fire is going to alter your permafrost table. It's going to drop it. And then at one point, you probably had like a really strong layer of charcoal. And
Mm.
then the longer that that goes through freeze thaw cycling, that charcoal gets cryoturbated down through. And it's my understanding that that's why all of these little charcoal chunks are seemingly like placed randomly throughout this core,
Okay.
as it's all kind of mixed in and through.
Yeah, so I think I got multiple questions and I don't know how to ask them. And you can skip them all. But okay, let's start with one.
Okay.
So I'm thinking of turbation, mixing, cryoturbation, right? Like, I mean, this is deep. It's like what, 115 or so
Yeah.
centimeters plus or minus 20. But like realistically, what is a normal depth for cryoturbation from surface downward or whatever depth it's
Well,
occurring? Do you see cryoturbation down to that depth?
for sure. It's an excellent question.
Yeah.
And can't put like a normal depth on it because if there's any sort of disturbance that deepens that active layer, um,
Okay.
and drops the permafrost table, all of that soil is now subject to frost churning and different freeze thaw and cryoturbation. I've seen pictures of massive pits up on the north slope that you have huge cryoturbated, just like entire horizons are being churned
Mm.
under down to like 3, 4 meters. Like it can go really, really deep.
Oh,
Um,
wow. Okay. I didn't
and
realize that. Yeah.
there's also many different levels, scales to cryoturbation.
Mm.
It can be like the landscape level scales, probably not the right picture, but like you can have entire organic layers that kind of get submerged under mineral layers.
Mm.
Um, Whereas what we're looking at here is probably on not a micro scale, but if you want to think of like a soil aggregate scale, you have the different densities here of the more organic rich mineral versus the more like pure mineral. As those sections freeze thaw, they kind of get frost churned more locally. Um,
Mm. Huh.
it's
Yeah,
nice and complicated, and I think that, it's something that we don't fully completely understand yet either. So.
for sure. That's cool. I actually did not really realize the scale of potential for cryoturbation to occur. Like it's not just limited to upper, I don't even know, 50 centimeters. Like
Well, and
yeah.
that's also the thing. At one point, this was the upper 50 centimeters, probably. And so it's
Yeah.
still hard saying when the actual cryoturbation occurred, right? Like, has
Mhm.
it just been frozen like this for millennia? Maybe.
Yes.
Hard saying.
Can you step back actually and share like the landscape here? Like where was this? What's
Oh,
story?
well, so this core in particular, it's like right next to the Fairbanks Experimental Farm, right on campus here. It's like an abandoned terrace of the Tanana River.
Oh, so yeah, there could have been some depositional events above, like for some time. There was, here it is, and then stuff is piling on later.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Huh. Actually, yeah, I don't know how you would get the age of that without doing carbon dating, and even then it just gets messy in your case. Just
Yeah,
isn't
totally.
perfect because it's not laid down linearly. There's this mixing occurring.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
previously occurred, which kind of altered how things are.
Yeah.
I respect all you guys trying to do carbon stock work up there. I don't know how you're gonna do it.
It's well, total carbon stocks, fine. Easier now. I feel like
Kind
kind of got it figured out, but
of. Why do you say that? How?
what do you mean?
I mean, look at this core, for example. Like, who was
Yeah.
assuming charcoal was there?
Who was assuming?
Yeah, right? Like, who was
Oh,
making carbon stock maps of the state and was like, I bet there's charcoal there. Because that's a certain type of carbon. Because it's not just how much carbon is there, but it's in
oh,
what form
fair.
is that carbon in?
Yeah,
Like, how accessible is it to the
yeah.
microbes?
Oh, yeah,
Something
we're
that's
nowhere
easily
near even
degradable.
that sort of. We're just trying to get accurate overall estimates. You
Well,
know?
good luck, man. Good luck.
Thanks.
Trust you. Can I ask you
Yeah.
a sidebar question?
Yeah. And then I want to go over to a different example.
I want to go to another example too, but this is a dumb question. This has come up in a few different things. How can we tell the age of like a concentration or depletion?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep.
At what time period did this iron transformation occur? Like, what
I
is the science to that?
I would love to tell you. I think some people would like to hazard a guess, but I think it's very subjective. To my knowledge, there's no accurate way to like, age a concentration, I need there to be.
Yes.
Um, I mean it brings up the point of or the debate of like what is relict redox features, and that's used as a concept in some different landscapes that it's like, yeah, well, the current hydrology isn't indicative of like natural conditions. When you tile drain a field, for
Yeah.
example, you still see the redox features, but that's not acting like a hydric soil anymore, if it ever was actually hydric.
Mm.
But in Alaska, they're like, oh, well, these redox features, if they were formed thousands of years ago, are indicative of a different hydrologic regime. And it's like, well, sure, maybe, but does it matter? Uh,
Sure.
Anyways, I've heard some folks say that it's the boundary distinction of
Yeah.
the feature. It's like what is it? If it's more blurred, it's
Then that would probably be more
active.
newer. Yeah,
Yeah,
like more
active.
recent. Yeah.
And then if it's like a very abrupt boundary, like this one right here,
Mm.
might be more relict versus like these might be more active. I think, does
Huh.
that make
That
sense?
close. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of one thing I've heard, but I haven't seen a paper or actual
Yeah,
data backing up. It's just kind of a
I
hearsay.
don't think there's enough to actually prove it, you know?
Yeah. The reason that was kind of on my mind, not only in general, is just kind of always on my mind, but I was doing some work yesterday and I was with this guy who his background is mapping in Montana, but
Mm,
he now is here as a soil scientist in Minnesota. And we were looking at the golf course right next to campus and
mm,
we're digging down, and that's a crazy area, man. They got a whole mashup of a variety of different things that went on. But one of the things is he was like, "Yep, you could tell this is relic redox," which for you know this, but like I guess in general for folks, a lot of places in
yeah.
Minnesota is kind of wet, so there's a lot of redox around. But here he was like, you could tell it's relic. I used to see this all the time in Montana because look how bright the concentrations are. And I was
Oh,
like, really? Ah, maybe. I don't know. Like, I guess I believe you, kind of. So I don't know. Maybe he was right, and maybe I just don't know enough about it. But
mm.
is that
Well,
something you've ever heard?
no, I've also heard that, but I think that holds up maybe in more arid places. But I don't think it's
You've been
correct.
around St. Paul campus, so you know we're not that arid. In
No,
fact,
no, no,
some
no.
of the arid places
Yeah.
would call us wet.
Well, and a lot of this is like, on well, brightness of a redox feature depends more on mineralogy than,
Mm,
whether it's
yeah,
active or not, or yeah.
yeah. I wish I had a photo of it. I'm excited to talk about this photo. I love the little striations and stripes.
Isn't that cool?
Gorgeous. That should be the Alaska state flag.
It should be. I'll
Yes,
start a
it is.
petition. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Tell us
still,
more. What are
so
these little lines? Wait, charcoal? Charcoal's there, and what else?
yeah, charcoal there. So same story. So completely different site. This is out at Bonanza Creek. I think this was yesterday or Monday, but
What
yeah.
depth? 100
What?
centimeters? A little above 100?
Yeah. Oh no,
Wait, no, sorry,
190.
190. I didn't see that. Nine. I thought it was a 100. Oh,
Yeah,
you're deep.
a deep
Yeah, yeah,
one.
yeah. Huh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Isn't that cool? And this is more of a line of charcoal.
Yeah.
And then yeah, look at it's like play the game of what is the matrix color? Dude, we should put this up for a soil judging practice.
Yeah,
Be
like what
like,
was the horizon here? Like, what do you.
what did I call it?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
God. I probably didn't even put horizonation on it. I guess it could just be a CGJJF.
Okay, sure.
Maybe it'd be like a CG slash OEJJF. Oh, and W. So CG slash OE slash WFJJF.
We could probably do an entire podcast episode on like one of your description sheets and
Oh
like
my gosh.
I always
Yeah.
think of that soil profile from Alaska where it's there's just the craziest puzzle piece like
Yeah, yeah.
mosaic look to it in terms
Mhm.
of horizonation because yeah, here's where it's that's crazy and
Yeah.
that's pretty deep
And the
actually.
whole core is like this.
Like how can that be? How can the whole core be like this?
Dude, these permafrost soils, extremely dynamic. Crazy.
Dynamic soil properties project. Yes.
Check.
Track. These guys are dynamic.
They are dynamic. Now,
Yeah.
let me try to find one with ice for you. Oh, I can show you the ice wedge. Yeah.
Thinking as we were talking about that, like I started asking you questions that were specific to the photo for the
Yeah.
previous one, but then forgot to ask you probably the most important question was tell me the area that you did this in. And I feel like that's kind of
Oh.
on par for my life, which is like I think have a tendency of diving deep into the details and getting super excited about them, and then I need to step out. I've actually learned that about myself. I see a soil pit, step out, step back, put the teas in, and leave for a minute. Come back. You're gonna
Ooh,
see
and then come back
something.
to it.
I mean, maybe not like full on leave, but like just
Yeah, yeah.
step back because I've taken photos and I'm like, oh God, I feel so good about my horizons. And then I look at the photo, I'm like, girl, what are you thinking? Like, no, no.
I get general location. Well, so the first one was just forested area next to a farm field. And this one
See?
just, I get they're both very similar. Pretty similar vegetation wise. Both boreal forest, pretty flat landscape, both like abandoned floodplains.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in sidebar for you, could have quit. Here's how we actually could have framed that Varv thing,
Yeah.
lamellae, etc. Is that there's a game I like to play with myself sometimes when I'm driving through a flat landscape of like
Hmm.
what's going on here? Like, am I looking at like a lake plane? Am I looking at like a river terrace? Am I looking at, whatever type of plane here? And
Yeah.
you can tell, right? You use landscape clues, you can tell, but it's like the
Mhm.
fun of the game of like it's flat. What could have led to this? I always enjoy that game. That's actually how we could have pieced this thing together. I don't know. I could have thought about that
Yeah.
harder, but like, oh, you were talking about redox and loss and varves, and you're like, yeah, it all makes sense.
Well, I guess we were thinking about, but Nick and I were thinking about like how um going through like the Luss bedding plains, how water just gets like hung up just enough to form reducing conditions, and then it dries out to form the concentrations. Um,
Oh, like
yeah,
gets hung up where?
within like the bedding plane of the Luss. Like sure, it's all a silt loam, but it actually forms really cool redox features without actually ever being completely saturated.
Mm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyways.
Oh, why?
That's a fantastic question.
I didn't
I
think
think it's
about
just
it.
like it's I don't know, particle size of the silt. It I don't know, is able to get hung up just just long enough, apparently. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, silt is kind of a special texture because of the particle
Mhm.
size, like in the
Yeah.
pore sizes in between, right? I always go back to that needle ice thing. I'm not an ice expert like you, but I found needle ice to be fascinating. And
Yeah.
pore sizes in silty soils and how they're really conducive for that, especially when you get that difference in air and soil temps. So
Hmm.
big fan, big fan. Um,
Yeah.
any other cool photos? It's like I want to see that whole
But
core. Like you're just giving us a little teaser of one part of it, and it's the deepest part. Show us
oh,
that thing.
the whole thing. Okay, wait. I did take a
Yeah,
look.
like cool. I love seeing a deep core, but show us beneath, like not
Mhm.
just the toes. Show us the legs, the chest, the arms, the
That,
head.
now we're cooking. No.
Okay. Well, you're gonna like narrate?
Me?
Yeah.
No. Well, do you want me to? Hold on.
Yes.
Okay. So
Well, give me
I
the
was
field
just going,
tour.
I was just gonna watch the video. Okay, so uh back up here.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we have
Here's one.
a depth of about 17 centimeters of frozen.
Okay.
But this is
Perfect.
not permafrost. This is seasonally frozen.
Okay.
Still organic down to about 26.
Okay.
And
Sweet.
fun part here. mm, Hard to see on the picture, but this section right here is really ice rich. A lot of
Mhm.
times the core will naturally break at ice, like thick ice lenses or ice belts.
Sure.
And it's very common to have a pretty saturated layer sitting right above the mineral contact of the organics.
Mm.
So that's kind of cool and something that you can only see when that contact is still frozen, basically.
Okay. Huh.
So that's kind of cool.
Huh.
Um,
Yeah.
all of this is cryoturbated.
You can see that real messy mix.
Mm-hmm. Nice and messy. And then you'll notice that mm, the core gets kind of like, I don't know, comes out in smaller chunks down here. And I guess probably kind of hard to tell if you've never like held it, experienced it. But this section and this section obviously looks a lot different, right? This
Yeah.
one's really glistening. So this section is really dry, and it usually gets
Oh,
really dry right before it hits the permafrost table.
okay. Right.
And
And sure.
did you have a question?
Well, no, I was just gonna say, is that
Mm,
because water moves to the freezing front?
exactly.
Ooh, see a little dry layer.
Yeah. So it usually gets pretty dry. And then, so honestly, hitting that at about, if that depth is true, that 57 centimeters, we hit really ice rich stuff through here. And this actually really fractured apart. And we had to kind of create the depths based off of our core measurements.
Okay.
So not entirely sure how ice rich this was for like the specific thickness, but I don't know, 62 centimeters is pretty shallow for an
Mm,
actual permafrost table. But morphology wise, that's kind of what this looks like, is like the permafrost table is right around here.
okay.
Um, right
Huh.
around 60 anyways. So then we keep going. Oh, I tested. Oh, showing myself the really ice rich stuff.
Pull it up. Yeah, let's go. It looks like it's like plastic wrapped, you know what I mean? It's got that.
Yeah, it's super glistening and yeah, hard to
Mm-hmm.
hard to tell. So keeping with the ice rich stuff, here's some more cryoturbated organics. Also, I mean, look at all of this. It's hard to tell with the glare. All
Yeah.
of these redox features. You got oxidized concentrations, probably have depletions in there as well. It's like just melty enough that it's hard to see. These were,
Mm,
it was only like, I don't know, maybe 60 degrees or something when we were taking these. And they don't really look ice rich, but it's calling a lot of these micro suspended cryostructures.
okay.
And so, like, super small visible ice, but a lot of like unassumingly ice rich, basically. And so they would thaw really fast.
Okay.
Um,
So based off the way that those redox features are, you're assuming that those formed before cryoturbation? You don't
ooh,
care? It doesn't matter? Like what?
very complicated. I would think that probably alternating, honestly. I think that through here, so you have all of these different ice belts. Let me move down a little bit further to show you more. So there is that one really thick ice rich layer. I don't know for sure if it was a belt or not because it fractured coming out. But like
Mm,
you have this one, you have this one, you have this one. All of these ice belts are probably um, old permafrost tables.
okay.
And that would make sense. Like these are now pretty deep for modern times, but again, had a bunch of charcoal in these soils. So like they've definitely been affected by fire, disturbance, probably active layer deepening, and then
Yeah.
re-aggradation. Um, and
Mm.
that was probably thousands of years ago, which is cool.
Last question. I'll stop. In a forest fire, and I know it could vary, but like, okay, yes, it could vary based off a variety of different things, like organic thickness and intensity of fire. How deep does a forest fire really impact soil? Like temperature wise?
Temperature wise, it is going to depend on
Yeah, there's variables. We
There's
feel
variables.
that,
It's
but
going to
like,
depend on how much of the organics the fire burned. It's going
mm,
to depend on the saturation levels of the soil and soil texture.
but
Um,
like, how deep would be like the deepest?
well, so that's the thing. So sometimes you can have the fire itself. the heat from that can affect the permafrost table and drop it. But what usually really gets it is if the fire completely burns off all of the organics, then it's just a
Oh.
positive feedback, and the permafrost table just keeps dropping and dropping and
Oh, so
dropping.
it's kind of like almost like a lag. Like
Yeah.
there's a more intense, right now,
Yep.
acute impact of temp down, but then if you get rid of everything, that's kind of a buffer.
Yeah. Yeah. And if the soil is then really saturated after a fire, the saturated soils have a higher thermal conductivity, and so will actually
Mhm.
keep the soil warmer. To that extent, timing of fire, like if it's late season or something and you actually have seasonal frost form at the surface and you have really saturated, pretty warm conditions down below, that permafrost table can keep dropping through the winter, even though the surface soils are freezing.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
many variables. It's fun.
so many variables.
Yeah.
Um, isn't that fun?
Yes. No, that sounds like fun. I wish I got to do more with that. It's fun. Someday. Okay, this is that one core we were looking at before, right? We're halfway there.
You know,
We got
we're
one more.
getting there. And I feel like I think the section that I showed you is in a different video actually, because we took a break and sampled because this was melting so fast.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, isn't that beautiful? It's like,
Oh, yeah.
like calico cats. This is like a calico
Yeah.
core.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
looks just like it.
Yeah.
Calico core,
Hmm.
120. I like how when you first started the video, you were like, oh God, we're moving so fast. And I was like, fast? That's slow. Now
It's
I
even
can kind of
slower
get,
now.
yeah.
Look
And
at
that's fine.
oh, there's okay, so there's
So
the end of
why
that.
so dark right there?
I think this, if I'm thinking of the right core, I think this was a lot of charcoal, actually. This is more cryoturbated organics. And I mean, this it probably is too, but can let me zoom.
You gotta carbonate that thing. You gotta let us know when those
Yeah,
fires were.
there were some cores that we had. It was just like I mean, it just looked like wood, which is really cool.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, dude, that looks like a lot of charcoal. They must have had some real burn, like some big ol' state of
Mm.
Alaska wide burn. I'm kidding, but like,
Well, there's so many fires in the interior boreal forest. Like they were thousands of years ago, or
true.
well, and more recently. Like
Yeah.
it's a very dynamic.
But why was there such a thick layer there? Like, why versus all the other years they have burns? I don't know, like the frequency of
Mm.
burn there.
Well, so it could be so thick there because it quickly refroze, and so there wasn't a lot of decomp time of that burn layer.
Mm,
And so you actually have more there.
yeah.
That would be my initial guess. Could be completely wrong.
Mm,
But so now we're getting into the section that I showed you, and this should be a video.
pretty.
Isn't it pretty?
Yeah.
Wow, play. So there's a continuation. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, I
It's
caught
looking good.
this. Yeah, I caught this video before it really got melting messy. So that was fun. But
Huh.
you'll notice like there's a breakdown here where then you don't really have like the same redox features. It's a lot more um faint, faded. Um,
Mm.
and that's, probably and more charcoal down here too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, you can see it popping out. Real
Mhm.
good. Zoom in. Yeah, that's looking nice. That's pretty.
Oh, there it
Yeah, I
is.
like that you can actually see the kind of more, not quite linear straight across or horizontal lines, but like you can actually see the above that, you can see some of these kind of depositional things a little better. Maybe not depositional, but like actually like,
Like
yeah,
this.
here it is. Right. It's not
Yeah.
mixed up as much by cryoturbation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Isn't that cool?
I want that section.
And that's sick.
How are you gonna make a monolith of this?
It's a fantastic question.
How do you make a monolith of a, yeah, permafrost core? I don't,
I'll figure it out someday.
yeah,
I
you
don't
gotta
know.
put
I
this on
wonder if
display.
anyone's done it.
You are gonna be the first.
I'll figure it out.
Someone, you, do it. I mean, maybe it'd be fine, right? I don't know. What's the core supposed to, like, actually gonna fall apart if it thaws? If it's
Yeah.
not all ice?
Well,
No,
it's just going to
wrong.
be a pile of goo. You know, like they
Mm,
turn into melted ice cream so quickly. It's crazy.
how are
I
you
think
gonna do
all
this?
of the, like the monoliths for the World Soil Museum, the Isric one, I think that their monoliths for cryosols, gelisols, I think it's just the active layer, which I think is so funny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm looking at how to make a,
When you figure it out, you let me know.
just glue it.
Okay.
Just
But
glue
it's
it.
so wet. How does that work?
Try it. Have you tried it?
No, but I will.
That's science. Science is try it.
Also, I have like maybe 3 minutes before it gets too melty to.
Don't care, get on it.
Okay.
Just get that thing ready. Get that bottle of glue. I'll have to look that up for you later, or you can
Okay.
maybe think about it yourself, because that's not a problem I run into often.
Fair.
But
Fair,
I don't
fair.
know. That's a good
All
question.
right. Oh, here's words of wisdom to leave you with. I met with a friend, colleague, Monday night, who is late 70s,
Good
and
for
he told me that he feels like his peak as a scientist was in his 40s because he felt like at that point he had actually had enough experience and did enough things and saw enough places to actually know what he was talking about. Like it took
yeah.
2 decades of field work to actually get there. So he feels like the 40s were his peak, and then 50s, you're kind of like, you know the things, but you start forgetting some of the things. And then in
Yeah.
your 60s, it's like you really start forgetting things. And now he's in a stage where he's calling it the joy of rediscovery because he's like
Yeah.
looking up things where he realizes after he like keys out a plant or something that he used to know that plant by heart.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like, oh, well, now
Yeah.
I'm just rediscovering it.
Oh man. Hey, I
Um,
appreciate his positive attitude on him.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And what, why I bring that up
Those are
is
good years.
is because someone was, well, a lot of people have been asking me, what are you planning to do right now? Like, what do you want to do for your career? I feel like there's so many things that I want to do, and I'm not going to get them done right now, but catch me in 20 years when I'm hitting my peak.
Oh, dude, I already know my 40s are gonna be amazing years of my
Yeah,
life.
they're going to
Like,
be incredible.
be on top of the world.
Yeah.
50s, yeah, uh-huh. Yeah,
Yeah.
30s will be good. I saw
Yeah.
13 going on 30, as I've
It'll be
mentioned
fun.
many a time to you. Like, good years. 40s, gotta, I'm not say can't wait, but like, watch out, world. I'm coming in hot.
Yeah.
Running 40.
We will be like field experts by then. People will be coming to us. Well, it sounds like
Yeah.
they're already coming to you.
I think 42 to 47 are gonna be my best years.
Ooh, okay.
Potentially.
We're calling it now. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. I just feel like
Yeah.
sometimes I'm around people who are much older than me, and it's like, yeah, I would hope that you know more than me and that you're better at everything, and
Yeah.
you're more professional than me. You're 42. Like, I
Yeah.
pray. I pray to be
Fair.
like you someday. So yeah, I think those are great years. I can't wait. And I will still remember, also be mobile. Because that's another thing. It's not just memory, it's
Still be
like
mobile. Yeah, we'll be
mobility and
mobile in
energy,
your
right?
40s. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, like 60, 70. I mean, some of those guys are still running marathons, but let's be real.
Chen Lu
Mobil-
Ping doing field work in his 80s.
I gotta learn from that dude. Love to chat with him
Yeah.
someday. But yeah, never stop,
Never
and you'll
stop.
never stop.
You'll never stop and you'll still be going. Yeah.
Keep it
That's
running.
perfect.
I like that 70-year-old. He's got some insight.
Mm.
Anyway.
Anyways, our lives are super busy now, and yet the best is yet to come. The grind is now,
Oh yeah.
and the best is yet to come. Okay. And with that, deuces.
Bye. Permafrost can feel out of sight and out of mind if you aren't living in Alaska or polar regions. But the story it tells is connected to all of us. These frozen soils hold carbon, old fire history, and clues about how landscapes respond to change. And now, as permafrost thaws, scientists like Megan are trying to understand what happens when those long frozen soils change with a volatile climate and altered disturbance regimes. The vegetation and soils have a history there, and we're seeing increasing pressure to change these landscapes for agriculture and other land uses, which can have both positive and negative consequences for these incredibly dynamic ecosystems. Because soil absolutely shapes water, climate, ecosystems, and human lives, even when it is seemingly frozen solid. That's a wrap for this episode of the Lowdown Underground. If you enjoyed it, share it with a soil enthusiast or a friend who is soon to become a soil enthusiast. Until next time, keep digging into the soils and the landscapes around you.